Welcome to the world of Diffmatic. Let me introduce myself. I am Julia, the sales manager of Diffmatic. For those who do not know us yet, we are a leading company in the production and marketing of automated entrance solutions. With over 30 years of experience, we stand out quality and innovation of our products, all strictly made in Italy. We have suitable solutions for every type of need, and with these video tutorials, we will take you on a journey to discover all our products that have been designed and created to make your life easier and safer. Additionally, for our clients, we offer completely and absolutely free technical and commercial support. Are you truly ready for an adventure in the world of Diffmatic? Let's go!
Today we will talk about automations for roller shutters. The motors for roller shutters are electromechanical devices designed to automate the opening and closing of roller doors, like those found in shops, industrial sheds, and garages. These automations allow us to control the door through various devices, including remote controls and buttons. The power of the motors varies based on the weight and size of the roller door. And now our technician Pierluigi will show you the entire range of our automations.
Today we talk about our motors for shutters, which are fundamentally divided into three main groups: the Big 140, the Big 180, and the Bimotor 360. Let's dive in and analyze them to understand how and what to choose. Our roller shutter will definitely have a shaft and springs. Based on the square meters we assess, we will choose our motor. The work of the window installer is essential because the springs must properly balance the shutter. Once this is done, we measure the square meters and choose our motor. Our motors can be installed with or without an electromagnetic brake. What does it mean? In the motor without an electromagnetic brake, the motor offers us reversibility, meaning it will move electrically. But in case of need or necessity, we can manually move it at any time. In the case of an electromagnetic brake, there will be a lock, which means that when it moves electrically, this electromagnetic brake will disengage and allow the roller shutter to move. Motorized. If there is a power outage, or the electrical command is not given, the shutter will be held in place by the lock itself. If we need manual operation, we will release the electromagnetic brake using the specific unlock located on the knob inside or through the external access panel with the release lever. Our motors, as we have already mentioned, are divided into three main types: 140, 180, and 360. For well-balanced shutters up to 8 to 10 square meters, the 140 kilograms will be sufficient. For shutters up to 12 to 15 square meters, we could go with the 180. For sizes larger than this, the 360 motor is recommended at point B. In a single device, there is a double winding.
So for Luigi, a customer is asking if the motor is compatible with existing shutters.
In most cases, this is already compatible. It will be enough to check the type of shaft, the type of roller, and the existing spring and adapt the most suitable motor.
Vincenzo is asking us which axes are compatible with this motor.
In most cases, the axes are already compatible since they are iron tubes. Only, in cases where there are particularly old shutters that still have a wooden structure, those need to be replaced and updated.
But what happens if there is a power outage? How does the emergency unlocking work?
Here we need to make an initial distinction between two types of motors, with and without an electro brake. If there is no electro brake, it will be enough to lift the shutter, since the motor is reversible. Whereas when we have the electro brake, we will either have an external device called a blendino with a release lever, or we will have an internal knob that will perform the same operation by unscrewing the knob itself and pulling the release cable. At that point, the motor will become reversible and manual opening will be possible.
Nicola asks us, do we need a second motor for large doors?
For large doors, we can generally have adequate motorization. That is dual motor, but within the same device.
Let's go see today the components of our Big motor for roller shutters, a motor with an electromagnetic brake. Capacitor and integrated limit switch group, motor cable in the. The accessory bag includes the adapter for the roller of 220, the adapter for the shaft of 60, the release knob for the cable, electromagnetic brake, and of course the fastening screw for the shutter lock. Assembly instructions in the electronic accessories group, we find the flashing light, our pair of photocells, the external selector with release, and push button panel, also called a blendino, central of control, blendino accessories, remote control, button, and keys, our warning sign. Let's give a brief note on the installation of our big, obviously the motor as in this case. It is presented with accessories with the electromagnetic brake. During the installation, the shell will open. Here we have 2 fastening screws, one inside and one external. One of the 2 will go through the shaft. So we will couple the motor. We'll put a drill bit of sizes from 10. The bolt will be secured by inserting it into the tube while the other will simply press on the tube without going through in such a way to have all possible movements blocked. Obviously, based on the axis, we can go ahead and insert the adapter. Having done that, let's consider that the motor can be mounted both in this direction and in this other reverse 180 degrees, so we can easily install it with a view to the right or to the left. The important thing is that we leave the part of the electro brake in a convenient view and obviously the part of the mechanical limit switch with its card for subsequent adjustment once fixed. Here we have the adapter in case of need for our roller for the shutter. Same, a spaced advice that I always give, we will always install the motor with the shutter closed. So let's assess that we should have our end movement stroke near the closure in a manner such that we will be able to have the fork of work between opening and closing. If shutter is closed, there's the limit switch need. The closure, we know that all the rest of the race can be dedicated to opening because the cursor flows on an endless life. For as regards the passage of cables from the side, where we have the tubular, we can obviously make holes on the tubular itself through which to pass the cables and exit lateral. Let's touch on the connection of the control unit for shutter. We have 230 at the first 2 terminals, line volts. Then we have on the other 3 terminals open, common, and close, which are the 3 phases of the motor. Here on these terminals, we will connect exclusively the 3 cables of the motor. Then we have a safety contact. And then we have on the last 2 terminals the courtesy light or flashing light optionally. One or the other. Let's go to terminal block 2. On terminal block 2, we have first 2 terminals, 12 volts, raised to connect our photo cells. Then we have the D, so the 4th input, which is the common. It will serve as a common contact for both the photo cell and for the start. Obviously, once we have this control unit, let's remember that if we need to connect a button, we will go with contact clean between D and E. So without voltage, NO contact normally open, this contact can function. Step by step, it can function as a presence man based on the given setting. Fundamental thing, never connect the button to parallel to the motor wires. It is the control unit that manages opening, closing, and stop from the normally open contact button when we have finished the installation. If we are not using the photo cells, we will need to bridge the C and D, so photo cell and common with a normally closed contact bridge.